Right, and we are on the way. There was a bit of an early start, or a late start, depending on your perspective. But they'll deal with that shortly. So we start off immediately with a 19 to 20 second cutscene, depending on how well you mash. And then the run starts pretty much immediately after that. So the first thing you're going to notice is we have some, your basic controls. You have a jump, roll, an melee attack, a ranged attack, and then later on we will be getting items, which we will also be using. One notable bit of speed tech in this game is what we call the roll jump. Ooh, Elzam takes a really early death.
Jumped just a little too soon off of that platform there. Yeah.
That's always unfortunate. But it's by no means the end of the world. But yeah, as I was saying before, there's a speed tech that we call a roll jump, which is when you input a roll and a jump on the same frame. You'll see them roll into the air diagonally, and that it gives you the benefit of both rolling and jumping. So you get the speed of the roll and the invincibility of the roll while also getting the vertical movement of a jump.
DreamFox having a little bit of trouble hitting the orb. That orb that you see at the top of his screen unlocks this pathway forward, and usually, pretty quick to just jump up there and get that arrow off, but both runners having a few uncommon mistakes for sure right now.
Also sounds like DreamFox turned off his music.
I can hear a little bit of the Grove music. It's just not as loud as normal.
Yeah, fair. There's something else I was going to say. So rolling is going to be our main source of movement, like any good speed game, because it's faster than walking, and the invincibility helps in some areas, like getting around enemies and whatnot. This first area has a lot of RNG with these imps, their placements and their movement. Well, not the placements, but the movement can be pretty random. It's kind of an inconvenience on easy, but on later difficulties, it can be like run killers. So DreamFox is coming up, or is on the first boss. Tried to go for the quick kill setup, but then Adea decided that she wanted to dance, so he's gonna just do it the normal way. Elzam missed the cycle on that platform, so he had to wait a little bit of time. But DreamFox gets the normal kill on Adea pretty quickly, and so now he's gonna get an item. Every boss in this game drops an item if you defeat them without taking damage, and all of the items except for one of them are essential to the speed run. So, well, yeah. So the ideal is that you don't want to get hit.
We had Elzam go for the non-safe quick kill strat and actually missed it. So the whole thing around the quick kill is Adea's Pearl is the only thing in the game that actually has a crit box on it. So it deals just so much extra damage if you can get the arrows off onto the Pearl itself. So we tried to charge up these arrows here and get just it's like a 2-frame trick where you can actually get the volley off and it'll instantly kill Adea. Now, doing it the safe way, like we're seeing both runners go through now, the goal is to get some attacks where Adea exposes the tail to some hits and get arrow strikes off on there to kill her a little bit quicker than just hitting her in the face. But we got DreamFox up onto the next boss now.
Yeah, so this boss is a two-part boss. First we have Mocha, this little Bachman imp guy. He has 3 attack patterns. None of them are particularly dangerous, but he himself can be pretty dangerous. His movement can be pretty erratic. But we don't have to kill him, we just have to get him down some health, and then we transition into the second part of the boss fight, which is Lubella. I was just about to mention dives, so I think the game read my thoughts. Every enemy in this game has one attack that you generally don't want them to do, because it's just an unavoidable time loss. For Lubella, it's her diving into the ground, because when she's off screen, her hitbox is off screen. She can still take damage from certain things such as poison projectiles and stuff that go off screen, such as the Bachman patch that DreamFox just picked up, as well as the fairy will do damage. The fairy is a hidden item in this game, which you can use by inputting the Konami code, part of the Konami code, and it's just fires lasers at a semi-random pattern that deals some damage. You can use it once before you have to refresh it, and the way you refresh items in this game is by hitting the bells, which also saves the games. So Elzam is on the Mocha part of the fight, just getting past that part. And he's going to go to Lubella. DreamFox is into another cutscene, which, we just have to kind of mash through. I believe it's the longest cutscene in the game.
Yeah, because of the pauses that happen in between the statements going on with her, it definitely takes, or at least feels like it takes the longest.
Yeah. Elzam got a dive, which, is unfortunate. She can dive multiple times, so we'll see if any of our runners get unlucky. Elzam got really lucky after the dive, though, because Lubella has an attack where she just laughs and does nothing, which is the attack we want to see. Doesn't happen as much. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Trim rolled the wrong way into the spikes. Now we're pretty much reset and even again, where Elzam has a little bit of a lead at the moment. Almost fell into the spikes himself. So that's one of the big things to the subterranean grave. There's a whole bunch of just spikes all over the place that you have to watch out for, as well as these water physics mechanics that we have going on, which is even more crucial to make sure that we're rolling at proper times, because roll speed stays the same while we're in the water, but if you actually try and walk, it's significantly slower.
Yeah, and excuse me. Regardless of what difficulty you play on, spikes are an instant death. So even on easy, spikes are extremely dangerous, and they are everywhere in this game.
But this is why when Elzam died early on, I mean, we knew it wasn't out. It's kind of one of the beauties of this game, and frustrations at the same time when you're running it, is there's so many places to make quite big time losses on it, which makes for really fun races, but can be, like I said, kind of frustrating to run. It's like a simple missed roll costs you about 40 seconds.
So DreamFox tried to do tried to do a roll jump off of that ledge, which gives you some extra time if you hit it, but if you miss it, you have the danger of rolling into the pits, or the spikes. One of the nice things about the underwater is that while our movement overall is pretty slow, we do get infinite jumps, which is pretty much the only reason why he was able to survive there. Because if you miss the roll jump, you can just mash jump, and most of the time you'll manage to get a jump off before you hit the spikes.
Got a safety save coming through from Drim.
Yeah, and I imagine Elzam's gonna do the same. Oh no, he's gonna skip it.
Frida, the boss that we're coming up to, has very safe strats. It's not terribly often that you'll see runners get hit on it if they use this safe strats, because you literally just sit in the corner and spam arrows, but every now and again you still run into some issues with her, so
yeah. And even like Frida herself is pretty safe, but like there's still some pretty treacherous platforming on the way to her. Which is why in these races a lot of people have been taking that safety save, because people have fallen into those two little spike pits there on the way to her. So
and then we just shoot that enemy with an arrow going in, because that scythe attack will end up hitting you and causing you to take damage. Obviously bad against the fight, so just taking one tick of the poison will eventually kill it during this cutscene here.
Yeah, and one thing to note about the poison in this game is, so Adea's Pearl, the first item that we got, gives your arrows the poison property. But unlike most games where it will do a direct injection of poison, in this game it creates a poison cloud, which is notable because you can poison yourself on that cloud, and if you get poisoned during a boss fight, well, now you've taken damage and you've lost the item. We also saw the item that we got from Lubella in this fight. It was the billions of squares that fell out of the sky. Not actually billions. It's like 100 something. They do just a lot of damage, are very good, and we will be using it for some utility later on in the race.
Yeah, the two items that we pick up, the one from Lubella and the one from Frida, are probably the two most crucial through getting the rest of the bosses, just because they have so much burst damage. They really shred the HP bars of the bosses. So we just picked up the Sparse Thread, which is a 2-use item, the same as the Bachman Patch. And it's just a simple explosion around Kaho, the priestess that we play as, and it will deal some pretty nice damage, as we'll see coming up here soon. So just a little bit more water movement that we go through, and then we can ignore it for most of the rest of the game.
Yeah, there's a little bit of water later on, but it's not... That's the underwater level of the game, more or less.
No golden Bachman this time.
That's unfortunate.
So for anybody wondering why there are two different color palettes on the screens between the two races, this game actually does have graphics settings, and it will change the color palettes of certain locations, such as the in the underwater section and the monastery that we're in at the moment. So it's not a weird monitor thing. It's nothing wrong with your computer. That's just graphics settings in the game.
And you probably saw DreamFox on that last bell there. He activated his Crystal Seed, which we didn't mention what it does. It gives you a 50% damage boost for a short period of time. So what a lot of runners will do here is they'll activate the seed and then save, which refreshes the seed, and then go into the boss, which gives them a little bit of extra time with that damage boost. So yeah, so that's a pretty common strat. And now we have our second form, which is the cat form. Cat form is pretty crucial to the run in terms of we have to get it because it's mandatory. And also it's the faster form generally. It's a faster walk speed, so even just right there, you're already moving faster. Woo, missed the cat sphere. Cat sphere is the item that allows us to switch our forms. The cat's role has a faster startup, but it has a little animation on the end, which is a bit laggy. But what we do to counteract that is we'll roll jump into the air, and then we will cancel the end leg animation with a melee attack. So now the fastest way of moving, at least horizontally, sorry, is to do consecutive roll jumps followed by a melee attack in between them to cancel the animation. Cat form cannot use any items except for the cat sphere and passive items. It can't climb ladders. So anytime we have to move up, we're gonna have to be in the human form if it requires climbing a ladder.
So we're going to go into the Forlorn Monastery for just a couple seconds here. We're about to see DreamFox activate a bell because the item that we're going for next, the whole point of the game up to this point is to collect these 4 key fragments to allow us to get to the Cursed City to cure this disease that's spread, or the curse that's spread. So there are very specific bells that we're allowed to warp to with this upcoming item that we're going to be getting, or the upcoming crest. So that monastery one is one of the most common ones that we use. So we just run to it real quick to proc that bell from being seen, allow us to warp back to it. And we'll do the longest backtracking part of the section of the game now.
Yep, and there's going to be a mini boss here, one of 2 mini bosses. Both of the mini bosses go down pretty quickly, but they're also somewhat notable in that the 2 mini bosses plus one of the bosses, as far as I'm aware, are the only 3 enemies in the game that are immune to arrows. Which kind of makes sense for 2 of them because they're in like full plate armor, but the other mini boss is just kind of like, why?
And you guys will see what that is coming up here in a little bit. So we're back to the Grove. There's a specific area that we cannot access unless we're a cat. Which is right here next to the save point. So we're about to go down here, just a little bit of platforming stuff to get to the warp crest. And then from there, it's pretty much boss rush.
Yeah, and ooh, I don't think I've ever seen someone get hit by that person before.
Usually you can just run straight through that one. Those icicle attacks will just straight up miss you. There's no danger in them whatsoever.
Yeah, and then that room there, it kind of seems like you have to go through it fast, which, like, I mean, you kind of do, but you have a little bit of leeway because you have to wait for those platforms anyways.
There's the elevator cycle there, so it's not too crucial to get through there super quick because, like you said, you're stuck waiting for the most part anyway.
Yeah. So DreamFox has the warp crest now, which he's gonna use to go back to this Forlorn Monastery bell. We will be returning to that bell multiple times because it's just in a very convenient spot for the next couple bosses, as well as one other area that we need to sidetrack to get to one of the bosses, and then we'll come back to it later for another thing. But DreamFox now is working his way through the Cinder Chambers, going towards the next boss, which is the Arsonist. Probably one of the... I'd probably say one of the more difficult bosses, at least starting out. Once you know how to work the boss, it's not too difficult, but she can still be a little tricky sometimes.
And she probably is the one that you kill the slowest of the remaining ones as well, so there's just lots of rooms for that one error to come into play where you just take that damage.
Yeah. And also the another part of this boss is that you kind of have to worry about your positioning, because after this boss there's going to be a little cutscene with the with our little ally here, Kath, who basically we want her as close as possible to us. Not quite optimal placement, but it could be a lot worse for DreamFox. Good calf placement, unfortunate. Yeah, because we need to get the item and talk to Kath, and if Kath is far away from us, then she has to run to us, and she's kind of a slow runner because she's in full plate armor. So we get the next crest after this boss, which gives us the ability to dash in the air, which is our next movement upgrade. I think our last movement upgrade, really. So now our fastest form of movement is to roll jump into the air and then air dodge. Some people will cancel the with the melee still, some people won't. I'm not sure if it's faster to do the melee or not, but...
Oh, it still cancels the roll animation on it, so I don't think that you can actually use the dash while you're in the middle of that roll animation. It just makes for really nice timing, because the air dash does have a bit of a cooldown itself. You can't just be constantly spamming it, so if you do the attack animation cancel, the cooldown refreshes pretty much in that time frame anyway. So it's just really good movement to try and do. Yeah, and it's just good to be in the habit of it. So DreamFox just went on the detour, and Elzam is just doing it now to talk to this witch surrounded by cats. This is in order to get a key to go through this door to get to the next boss, which is a fan favorite, but also don't blink. This is Best Girl. Anybody
she lasts for about 7 seconds.
Yeah, so the item that we picked up from the Arsonist is the Incendiary, or Pocket Incensory, which adds a flame attack onto our... Not only to our melee and range attacks, but onto all of the item uses as well. So those Bachman patches raining down are now enhanced with extra damage from the Pocket Incensory. So yeah, it just it really shreds bosses.
I just realized that Elzam is cursed. So what Curse does in this game is it prevents you from using any of your active items. So he had to go the slow way through that area because he couldn't change back into his cat form, which is how you get through that area quicker. Any of the status ailments that you get, the poison and the curse, you can cure them by hitting a bell. Same thing, hitting a bell will fully heal you. But I guess he didn't have any bells to hit. DreamFox, so now we have all 4 crests, so we go to unlock the next area, which has many names. I call it the Royal Pina Colada.
Royal Piano Cathedral.
Yeah, I've heard Royal Pinecone City. There's a whole bunch of names because the actual name is really hard to pronounce.
The Penacotha, I believe?
Pinacotatha or something like that. I don't know. It's a really long and complicated word that I have a hard time saying, so I call it the Royal Pina Colada.
Yeah, but this is a really neat area because there's so much vertical movement in this, and as we explained, cats can't climb ladders still. So there's just a lot of use of the cat sphere and just like really optimal timing of transformations to really be going through this correctly. So it's just, to me, it's a really satisfying portion to run and to watch run just because of how precise your movement kind of really needs to be. And there's so much time potentially lost by not moving optimally in this area.
Yeah. And there was also a little one of our last detours that we're going to take to get an item which will allow us to do our final detour, which we'll talk about later on. Elzam is doing that right now. DreamFox is on to probably the hardest boss in the speedrun, I would say, just because she can be very sporadic. Managed to get through it okay. Getting hit here is a pretty common occurrence. Oh, I thought he got hit there right.
I was worried. I think he got through before getting hit, though. Okay. Yeah, still got the heavy arrows, which are crucial for the queen fight.
Yeah, well, having a little bit of menuing issues. There we go.
Good old menu boss.
Yeah.
I was really surprised to see DreamFox not take a safety save there. The first phase of that fight, she has so many different patterns she can do, and really can roll out of most of your Bachman patches. We try to get it to where we set her up to be hit by all of them, but Loopier just has a mind of her own sometimes, and will very, very trolly. Yeah,
you'll have seen in both of the fights, both of the runners will activate one of their Bachman patches before the fight in order to make sure that she's getting hit right away. And then just on DreamFox's stage, you saw the utility for the Bachman patch, which is there's a switch off screen that you can use the Bachman patch to hit, which unlocks a special area, or not special. Well, it's a shortcut basically, which allows us to avoid a lot of platforming that we normally would have to do to unlock the switch the normal way. So DreamFox just went to get the upgrade to our leaf, which is what the sealed wind, the item that we took the detour for, allows us to unlock. And what the leaf does for us is not only is it a nice power boost for our melee attack, it is also required to get the good ending for the game, which is the only way for the game to actually be considered beaten. It unlocks a third phase of the final boss, which allows us to get the good ending, or the true ending, however you want to say it.
Good is relative, but true ending at the very least.
Yeah. So that's kind of like, we have one final obstacle before the final boss, which will be the second mini boss that we were talking about before. Which is an angel that creates... Did she teabag cat?
I don't think intentionally, but I didn't see too much on that.
Anyways, so there's this angel that creates clones of herself. You want to hit the right clone, because if you don't, she makes fish fall from the sky. It's a pretty simple fight once you know what to do. The actual real clone is or the real angel flies a little bit lower than the clones. That was an interesting damage boost.
Yeah, it was like a little bit of unoptimal movement there, but ended up not taking damage from the spikes at least.
But yeah, so the clone angel, we used the tainted missive, which is the item that we got from Fennel, which doubles our attack speed for a portion at the cost of a portion of our life. So we use that, and then 2 sparse threads and 2 melee attacks later, the angel is dead. DreamFox now is onto the final boss, which he has all of the items required to do the quick kills for all of the phases. We'll see if he gets them. He's not going to get the quick kill on the first phase because he got hit a couple times, but he should get through it just fine.
You might have to use some of the Bachman patches here because the Tainted Missive is going to run out. Ideally, you can get it to where your Tainted Missive will last through this phase of the fight. Oh, it actually did really good recovery strats by weaving in those melee attacks. Most runners will just sit there to fire volleys of arrows on it, on the Queen, because you can get it set up to where you just use the 2 sparse threads on that phase.
And now he's on to the third phase, which use the Bachman patches and the Angel, your last Tainted Missive, and then just melee and arrows, and goes down pretty quickly. So that's going to be the first game for DreamFox. Elzam's coming up on to the Queen fight himself. Not too far behind, all things considered.
No, it was a relatively close race. Both of them had a major mistake, and it looks like a lot of time was just lost really in movement from what I saw. Elzam looks like he's going to be able to get this first. Yeah, that was a really good Threadless Queen for the first phase. So we'll see him just shoot the volleys of arrows a couple more times and be able to get the 2 sparse threads off and go to phase 3. It was a very good Queen fight.
And then phase 3, there's really only one way to do phase 3.
The only thing you ever have to watch out for if you're doing it right is just make sure you stay out of the orbs of white. Those will have hurt boxes until they disappear. And
they do a ton of damage.
Yes. The attack isn't too deadly, but that third hit from the combo will bring you pretty far forward, so. But GG's to the runners. Very nice first race here. Yeah. Very competitive, I would say.
About a minute apart, which is not too terrible. But we're going to have at least one more race.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in this next one. I'm really curious to think to talk with these runners afterwards and see how they felt about the deaths.
Yeah,
going into it, because I'm really curious to see what DreamFox thought, like how far ahead he was still, or if he thought he was behind the entire time because of it. Usually, a mistake like that will cost you quite a bit.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the like you said before. While it's an extremely frustrating game to run because of how easy it is to just lose time or lose a run to like a mistake, it makes for pretty good racing.
Yes, very much so. I think this game is really, really pretty simple to pick up for the most part. For anybody that's curious about it, there's not a whole lot of super technical things that you have to learn. We like to joke around about the roll jumps being frame perfect because they technically are, but I mean, it's as hard as pushing 2 buttons at the same time, which usually isn't too bad.
Yeah, and like we've had a few people who started running this game since this tournament started, and most of them are already under 30 minutes. So like this has only been going on for just under a month. It's been about 3 weeks, and we've already got like pretty good runners that have just picked up the game within the last couple weeks. So it's like it's not that hard to get a good time. Obviously, if you want to go for, you know, a top 10 time or something, then it starts getting a little bit difficult, but what game doesn't at that point? I'm doing that thing again. It likes to not get rid of the winner thing for some reason.
Oh yeah, I have noticed that a couple times.
There's apparently a way to fix it. There we go. But yeah, so we're just gonna have our second race now, which is gonna be a lot of the same. So for as much as we talk about like, you know, boss strategies and RNG and whatnot within this game, a lot of time that is saved and lost is actually just movement. You can get pretty consistent times in this game just by having really clean movement, and we saw in this race and in some other races in the past the difference that having cleaner movement can make. So that's always just one thing to kind of keep in mind.
And then from there, it's just learning how to get the boss strategies down to where you don't take damage. And most bosses have a pretty safe strat on them that you can at least use at the beginning while you're trying to figure things out to get some pretty consistent times on. And then once you start pushing for upper times, there are some more risky and more complicated strategies on some of the ones like Frida. And you want to weave in more melee attacks because they deal more damage in total. But on the whole, it's pretty simple to just pick up and learn. I know a lot of people who have said that this is their first speedrun game that they've ever gotten into. Just for the simple accessibility. It's not a terribly expensive game to pick up. It doesn't take a long time to run. And like we're saying, there's not a lot of just super hard techniques to it. But
yeah, and even if you're not interested in speedrunning it, I would still recommend getting the game because it is a fantastic game casually as well. All right, and we're off on our second race. No early starts this time. Or late starts. So yeah, so I'll be interested to see the differences in this race. I'm hoping Elzam isn't gonna, you know, take a dive into the spike pits right at the beginning again.
oh no. I always love seeing who decides to use what safety saves as well, because I think it definitely takes some time to use some of the saves, but when you're afraid of being hit, it can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
We'll see if any of them can land the quick kill on Nadia this time as well.
All right, so they both get through that first area, the first spike pit safely.
Yeah, nothing too crazy going on at the moment. Just dealing with the annoyance of imps.
Yeah. Imps are the worst. Except for Log Imp. Log Imp is the best.
We didn't really bring it up before, but we do have that one buy section after Adia in here that we need 80 monies for. And yes, the currency is called monies.
Spelled
so that's why we
M-U-N-N-Y.
go. That's why we go through and get a couple of these chests here.
Not. Oh, he already hit it. I was wondering what DreamFox was doing.
Yeah, he was able to actually get the hit the first time this time, so just spending some time trolling the imps in the tomato.
I thought it was strawberry.
Radish, eh.
Red fruit and or veggie. Yeah, so so there's 3 chests total that we have to get the 80 money. And, you know, once they get it, they can buy the crystal seed, which we've explained before. Elzam getting the cycle this time, so that's nice. DreamFox coming up to the first boss, rather. As we said, we'll see if he gets the quick kill or not. I think last time he didn't even get a chance to try because Dad decided that she wanted to dance instead.
Yeah, he decided not to wait for the attack. Because you can set it up for a wider range if you go all the way to the left there.
Yeah,
but
doesn't get it again, but uses fairy strats, which can get you some nice hits off.
Not a very good pattern there, though. That poison breath attack is one of the worst because you can't get all 3 arrows on it, and it just takes so long to use.
and there's a very small window of time to get the arrows in the first place. I think Elzam also didn't get a chance to...
Elzam got really good fairy strikes. So the fairy is RNG with where the lasers come down, but if it hits the tail, it can still do that critical damage to it, and we just saw a lot of Adia's health bar go away because of that.
Yeah, so neither of them got the chance to try the quick kill this time. So that's kind of unfortunate, but both of them showed that they're pretty proficient in the normal kill as well, so...
And really, the quick kill only saves about 10 to 15 seconds. So in the course of a 25, 26-minute run, it's not a ton of time. Especially for people who are just starting out or in a race setting like this. But it would definitely be nice to have that extra security in there.
And I mean, even like going for the safe quick kill too. Even if you don't get the quick kill, you're gonna get a ton of damage on the boss anyways. So
DreamFox dropped the combo on Mocha, taking a little bit long to get the kill off. You can generally kill Mocha before they do their second attack on you. Elzam's getting the snowflake pattern, not knowing how to deal with it, or choosing to take it safe and not deal with it.
Yeah, it is a pretty dangerous pattern to deal with if you're not familiar with it. And of course, there's no real way to practice it except for just trying to deal with it whenever it shows up.
DreamFox getting a good no dive. It's gonna help quite a bit.
Yeah, Elzam getting through Mocha a little bit slow because he got two Toho patterns, as I like to call them. But he's gonna go through Adea and see. Hope he doesn't get any dives. He's gonna get a laugh, which is nice. That's the opposite of a dive.
Both runners getting very fortunate with their Lubellas this time. After I think both got dives in their last one.
Yeah. Now, if I'm not mistaken, does she always do the 4 orbs after a laugh? Because I don't think I've ever seen her do anything but that.
I can't remember in phase 1. In phase 2, no. Like the second time you fight her, she can do other things.
I know she can laugh twice in a row as well, which is like the dream. Oh, rolling the wrong way.
Spikes.
Yeah. So DreamFox on the cutscene again. Elzam coming up to it. There was another cutscene that we kind of didn't mention going into the Forlorn Monastery because it doesn't take that long to get through it.
Getting the roll jump this time, just barely landing on that platform,
and then opting to not go for the second roll jump, or he just
it.
Yeah, he probably missed the roll part of the roll jump. If you're missing a roll jump, it's better to miss the roll than the jump generally. At least in that area. Yeah, and then when you're in cat form, because every time you do a ground roll, you're losing a little bit of time. Doing 1 or 2 throughout the course of a run isn't a big deal, but if you do 15, 20, which is very possible, or more, like they do start to add up. Ooh,
looks like he missed the roll jump again
and almost jumped right into spikes, but he did get a jellyfish.
Jellyfish of luck.
Yeah,
opting not to take the safety save this time around either.
I think because as we all know, if you get a jellyfish in that room, you're gonna PB. So he's like, well, I guess I better keep going. There's a few little RNG things that are not crucial to the run that we like to keep track of, like that jellyfish and the amount of black cats that you get in the Witch Lady's room. They're just like little fun things that the community does.
Elzam is taking the safety save.
Yeah. Oof. Did he get a jellyfish too?
I didn't see. I saw DreamFox miss the witch the first time through.
Yeah, so he had to go back up. Oh, he's going for the DreamFox going for the melee strats this time.
He did this last time too, where he did the melee at least at the start and then backed off. Because while Frida's moving up, she's not too dangerous to deal with. Elzam missing the orb to activate the trapdoor, opening up.
Ooh.
Pretty good. When you're that far to the right, she still won't hit you with that melee attack, thankfully.
Yeah. It always looks really sketchy, though.
It is very sketchy.
She like tickles you with her beak.
Mm-hmm.
But you managed to get through it pretty well.
We'll see if Elzam just goes for safe strats or tries to catch up some. He did take the save. Oh, and got the early wall break too. That Bachman, normally you have to hit into the wall to activate, or he throws a bomb to break down that wall to allow us to go through quicker. Most of the time you don't get that wall break, especially with how quickly he moves through that room, so pretty surprising. And it saves about 6 seconds of time, so it's really nice.
Which is, you know, jellyfish of luck coming through. Maybe he'll get a Bachman, golden Bachman too.
I don't know if that would be lucky though.
I mean, if you can avoid it, it's fine.
So this Bachman that throws the bomb there has a chance to be golden. I think I've seen one in the 200-300 hours I have in the game. Now it's a very, very small chance to happen, but he'll throw about 10 or 12 bombs at you at once instead of just the one. And,
oh, did Elzam get the quick break too, or did he try to break it early?
I didn't check.
DreamFox coming up to the second Lubella.
The second Lubella is the one boss fight that you're allowed to take damage on. So you'll see him just kind of stand there in the middle, take the poison. It doesn't matter. The item that she gives is just a passive heal on hit, so it's not important for us during the speedrun because we're not ever needing to heal.
Yeah. Plus, it spawns at a pretty inconvenient location anyways. It spawns behind you to the left of the screen when you're in the cage. So it's, even if it was, you know, even if it does drop, it's probably not worth going to pick it up. Elzam coming up to Lubella 2. I don't think DreamFox got any dives, so we'll see if that luck continues for Elzam.
DreamFox got through it pretty quickly. Elzam taking a little bit of time to go through here, but shouldn't get any dives at this point now.
Or if he does, it's not going to be an issue.
She'll die, yeah.
Yeah.
She would have died.
So yes.
Underneath.
So yeah, so if you manage to poison Lubella before she dives, she will still take damage from the poison. So if you get down to like the end of her life bar and then you but she's poisoned and then she dives, then you're usually fine.
It's definitely a bit of a time loss, but it's not nearly as bad as it, obviously completing.
Yeah, so this is the cutscene that we didn't mention before. Basically, she's
my favorite cutscene.
Yeah, he's basically just telling us to go see the cat lady.
But he's very wary of you at first. He's like super on guard, and then he's like, "Oh well, you seem sane enough." As he's sitting there talking to a cat.
Yeah, which unfortunately in the most recent patch is no longer a thing.
Yeah, it's something that we haven't brought up. This has received a very, very recent patch, like during the middle of the tournament, that's changed quite a bit of things.
It was like 5 days after the start of the tournament, the patch dropped down. I was just like, well, thankfully the developer of this game is really friendly to the speedrun community and put the previous patch in as a beta to let us continue running it.
Because I think we've tested it, you lose anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds from just there's a lot of forced transformations from cat form back to human form every time you interact with somebody, which happens about 2 or 3 times.
Or upgrading your leaf for some reason.
Yeah. Cats can't climb ladders, now they can't dip maple leaves into tea.
Yeah.
It's just really sad. They can't even talk to people anymore.
It's a cat conspiracy. A cat-spiracy. So yeah, so DreamFox is going to go get the Warp Crest now. Elzam is on his way as well, just a little bit behind. Not too far behind, honestly.
Yeah, there haven't been any major mistakes that either of the runners have really done so far. So, I mean, really the only thing that we're seeing a time difference on is pretty much just from movement at this point.
Yeah.
Both of them taking the bosses about the same pace.
Yeah, I think DreamFox did a little bit faster on Frida, went for the faster strat. And his Adea fight was a little bit faster as well, I believe. But yeah,
I don't think so, because Elzam got the fairy lasers.
That's true. But yeah, this is a pretty good indication of what I was talking about before, about how you can make up so much time in this game just with clean movement. And right after I say that, both of them do fat rolls.
They're bound to get a fat roll or two in a run.
Yeah. It's pretty, like, even our best runners will still do it occasionally.
Something that we don't see either of the runners doing, you can actually cancel your auto attack, or you can cancel the roll animation with an auto attack a lot sooner than these two are doing, pretty much immediately if you push the attack button.
I believe both of these runners are running on controller, which is a little bit more difficult to do the fast cancel on.
Yeah, it definitely is. But it's something that can save quite a bit of time throughout the course of the run, because you do move significantly quicker horizontally if you can get the attack cancel sooner. Oh, I'm missing the sparse threads.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So I'll lose a little bit of damage, but he should still be fine. Dream opting to go closer. Normally when Arsonist goes back like that, it's pretty good, because then once she's off screen, she will always use her teleportation to you. I would have figured that he would have wanted to trigger that in order to get her right next to the door for the exit. But still good, clean fight. Just a little bit of lost time from Kath having to run to him and picking up the pocket sensory so far to the left there.
Yeah, but it's not too bad. It's pretty. It's a bit difficult to get like the optimal. I mean, it is pretty much RNG based on how Kath decides she wants to be that day. Getting the optimal placement.
So one cool tech thing, the crest that we pick up from Frida allows us to charge our arrows a little bit quicker. So in the Frida fight, the safe way to beat her is just to sit there and spam your arrows constantly. That's the highest amount of DPS you can do. Whereas any other time after that, the most damage that you actually get is if you do this half charge shot, where you'll see that little bit of yellow energy glow around Kaho for a little bit. You'll get that half charge, and it actually does, because of how quick you can do that. It does significantly more damage and allows you to get through the fight a little bit quicker.
Oh, whoa, that's weird.
The arsonist dying on Kath.
Yeah, so it was just like blinking out of existence.
It was a little nerve-wracking there, because those orbs are coming right for Elzam.
Yeah. Also, another thing to note, if you do get an item to drop, don't leave the screen until you pick it up, because if you do, then the item disappears.
Something that we didn't cover in the last time, a lot of these bosses do have cutscenes that will start at them. Mocha, Fennel, and the Loop-Year and Magnolia are the major ones. That if you just hit start and then hit start again, you will cancel those cutscenes. So for Loop-Year, that's how we get the placement with the Bachman patches, to where they should hopefully, for the most part, rain down on her to where she can't roll out of them. And for Fennel, it just allows us to get into the fight quite a bit quicker, because Fennel has a lot of things that she wants to talk to you about.
Yeah. But we don't care, because no one likes her.
Fennel's the best. Another little bit of time save, where we see Dream opening up the gate here to the Royal Pentecothia. If you hold just to the left while you're dashing up there, you won't get bounced back from that door. You can actually stop right up next to it, which saves you that bounce back animation and a couple frames from walking into the room. So just little bits of optimizations that we'll see from the higher level speedrunners.
Yeah.
again, don't seem like a big deal, but once you start pushing the times that they do, it's every frame matters at this point for those world record runs.
And it's a lot of stuff. I completely blanked on what I was about to say. It's been a long day for me.
We had Elzam almost get hit by a lightning strike. Actually had to roll out of the way of it.
Yeah, but as much as, you know, I like to make fun about how Fennel is like such a quick boss fight, like casually she's probably one of the most interesting bosses to fight, just because she's very mobile, very interactive in her fight, I would say.
Yeah, she's got a lot of really cool attacks. She's a very aggressive character as well, so it's just really beautiful music that goes along in the fight as well that you don't get a chance to listen to. So all in all, it was by far my favorite fight casually. Also, in my opinion, the second hardest, probably behind Loopier.
Yeah. Oh, Elzam spikes. Takes a dive into the spikes again.
At this point, it's gonna. Oh, we got Dream got hit,
and I think
used both threads. He's just gonna power through it.
Yeah. So losing the heavy arrows, it is kind of painful, but it's not a deal breaker. Especially because, you know, if you're so far into the run at this point, you know, resetting kind of sucks. You do lose, I think it's about 10 seconds on the Queen fight, just because the heavy arrows deal a significantly higher amount of damage compared to your regular arrows, so you no longer can do the quick kills on Queen.
At least not on phase 1. He's gonna have to use Bachman patch in order to get through phase 2 quickly. You can still get through phase 2 pretty quick, but then you're left with not any items to get through phase 3 at all, so it just takes a little bit of time on that one as well. But we'll see if he understands the backup strats well enough to go for those. It should still be okay time-wise right now. He has enough of a lead. As long as he doesn't make another mistake, he should be okay.
Well, especially with Elzam taking a dive into the spikes.
Right. So it's always an interesting... I hate seeing that happen to runners, but I like seeing what they choose to do. Because now the run is not going as it should. As if you were going for PBs, and it just makes the race a bit more interesting to me.
And we've seen quite a few strategies for it. Like, we've seen, like you said, people using Bachman patch for it. I've seen people using the cat form to get extra hits in the second phase, which is what I do personally.
Yeah, that's what I would do as well.
Because it lets you save your Bachman patches for the final phase. Yeah, there's definitely a few extra, or a few strategies, backup strategies that people do. I didn't see if Elzam got hit because he doesn't have... Well, if he got hit, he probably would have had way less health than that.
Yeah, he made it through just fine.
Okay, so he's going to have the heavy arrows, which could help him catch up if DreamFox makes a mistake between here and the boss. Even just with the boss itself.
Because he's gonna have to worry about. Oh, he did.
He is bad-mouthing Kath. Man, I'm gonna have to have words with DreamFox afterwards.
We'll have to see why he's doing that. Kath is just resting there, guys. There's nothing. There's nothing wrong with Kath, by the way. She just
unless you talk to her, then she dies. So don't talk to Kath. Well, it's a well-known fact that you only die if it's a cutscene.
Jerem accidentally used one of the sparse threads instead of the tainted missive. Thankfully, the clone fight is quick enough.
And used the second tainted missive afterwards.
Wonder if it's just a little bit of nerves going on right now, or if he's tired, or... Okay, he got the 2 dashes off there that time.
And then coming up on the final boss, which is this elevator. So the way elevators work in this game is that once you activate the elevator, you are locked into it. Even if it looks like you can jump out of it, you can't actually, because there's an invisible wall that's put up as soon as you enter the elevator. So that last elevator, you can lose time on it if you accidentally hit the switch again as you get to the top, because then you have to go all the way back down and all the way back up.
I find it interesting that Dream goes to the right after the queen. I see pretty much everybody try to face her on the left.
Yeah.
Alright, now we'll see if he goes for the Bachman. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to take the Bachman route. So poison, get the poison off, and then just the Bachman patches will take care of phase 2 pretty quickly in combination with the sparse threads, so...
Yeah. But we're going to see a longer phase 3 now, which can be pretty dangerous if you're not familiar with her attack patterns. The attacks are always in the same sequence on phase 3.
But they just deal a lot of damage, and when we're already putting ourselves so low from the tainted misses,
yeah,
you might be able to survive a hit, but it's going to be a little scary. So it's just really knowing the timing and then a little bit of RNG from those orbs, and yep, there it is.
Oh!
He's still, there's a save close enough that he should still be able to get through before Elzam gets there, but another...
If he does that again, then... But it also makes this race a lot closer than before.
Mm-hmm.
Elzam doing the safe method through that area.
So that's the true scary part about not having the heavy arrows, in my opinion, is having to go through phase 3, since you're not used to seeing those at all. Because in a PB run, you would reset at this point with the level that both of these runners are at. You take a hit on Loopier, your run is done.
Oh, takes another hit. Takes another hit to get through that final phase, or final part of the second phase.
Yeah, still plenty of health.
Yeah.
The Tainted Missive can kill you if you don't have enough health.
Yeah, because it does a set amount of damage based on whatever your maximum HP is.
I think even insane, it technically does like a 10th of an HP, like a 10th of hit point or something.
Looks like he's gonna get through it this time just fine.
Oh, he's taking safe strats. Ooh.
Oh,
and he does get through it.
That was really sketchy. So he's gonna get the win, but Elzam not too far behind on this race. I think they're both going to end under 26, unless... Well, I'm not going to say anything, because I'm really bad with commentator curse.
Yeah, we don't need to curse these guys. They're already trying to clean the curse from the lands.
Yeah. So both of them end with a sub 26, because Elzam didn't get hit on the third phase, as I was about to say. That is going to be the 2-0 win for DreamFox, however, which means that Elzam will be out of the race, or out of the tournament. But I mean, overall, he did pretty well, so.
Yeah, it was definitely, there were definitely close races, a couple of mistakes here and there from both of them, but all in all, I think they both put together 2 very solid races. I want to say both of them finished with 25s both times, which is very respectable times, especially in a race setting like this, so. It was a good run for both of those runners, and I'm interested to hear their thoughts on how they did here.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess we can start with the winner. So I'm gonna.
I thought the match was 2 hours earlier.
Oh, sorry, I pulled you in while you were talking.
Yeah, it's fine.
Welcome, welcome. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you, thank you.
How nervous were you in the first race after you took the spike death?
Not super nervous, because I have the stream up on my second monitor, so I saw that I wasn't that far behind, or we were even, so.
Sit there and look. I don't know that I could do that. I'd be too nervous to have that constant distraction of the screen up.
Yeah. I like to have it there.
Can see that allows you to have a little bit more information going into the runs.
Yeah, then I know if I can just really take it easy, or if I have to take all the risky strats I can muster. But yeah.
Yeah. So again, congratulations on the win today. Do you have any particular thoughts about this race?
I'm not super happy with the first race. The second race was a lot better. But I can do better. I am just not having a good day.
Yeah. So your next opponent is going to be Zof. I think I'm pronouncing that right. So that should be definitely an interesting race. You guys are pretty close together in terms of seeding. So I guess do you have any thoughts or comments for your next opponent?
Nothing special except for have fun and let's make it a good race.
Alrighty. Well, again, thank you for participating in this tournament, and I hope that you continue to do well.
Yeah.
Yep. Congrats again.
Yeah, thank you.
And get a couple words from Elzam as well.
Yo.
Hey.
Fox, just too fast, man.
You can't beat foxes.
No. So this was unfortunately a losers bracket match. So you are out of the tournament now. But it was definitely a pleasure to have you in this tournament. So yeah, I believe Flane had some questions for you.
Yeah, just kind of similar. Took a death early in the Grove on the spikes thing there. Was it kind of disheartening to have that happen? Were you panicking a little bit after that? Or was it just, well, get back and keep going?
A little bit of a bunch of things, really. Yeah, I was kind of panicked. I was like, I can't believe. In my practice, I missed that jump more than anything else in practice. Believe it or not. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it at that point. So you might as well just get back into it. It did change some of my later strats. I was less. One thing I usually go for on the ground is the roll jump on that chest, and the first in one of the races there was a damage boost I was going for, but in the other one I know I was still kind of scared from the jump.
For the Grove or for later parts of the run?
So yeah, the failure in the Grove kind of impacted other parts where I was less willing to do riskier strats on spikes.
That's fair. Do you also keep the races up on the side? Did you see that DreamFox also took a death?
Nah, that's not something I do.
That's fair. It's fair.
But
did you enjoy yourself throughout the tournament? Learn anything fun? More motivated to try and grind out some more PBs now, or is it going to be a little bit more of a break?
Well, Nundora should be coming out within a few weeks here, so I'm going to be looking forward to that. That's Ardine's next game. Hashtag spoilers. And other than that, I've been sort of grinding out another game, so I'm going to this tournament. It was sort of easing my way into other things. Okay. But definitely a great game. I'll definitely be hanging around in the Discord to complain about who's strats. That's like 4 times I tried to do his thing underground right before Frida, and every time I failed.
Oh no. Yeah, it was it was definitely fun watching you guys go at it. It was I think one of the better races that I've gotten to watch. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten to watch all of them so far, so kind of sad to see it end in the 2-0, but it was definitely exciting. I appreciate your efforts and the matches that you put in here to actually get. I mean, top 8 still pretty awesome to have gotten when we've got a lot of really, really tough runners in this tournament as well. So I guess congratulations on your placement here, and excited to see what you do in the community and other races from there.
Thanks, mate. Yeah. Well, DreamFox, I wish you good luck. I need you to beat everyone for me. I will send you my energy.
I will do my best.
All right, and with that, I believe we are done for today. I don't think we have any other tournaments or races set at the moment, but keep an eye out. We've got a few more races coming up, some pretty great ones too. So yeah, just keep an eye out, and we will see you when we see you.
Yep.
Thank you very much for thank you very much for tuning in and continuing to tune into our little race here, or tournament rather. And yeah, so we're gonna sign out now. I hope you all have a good day.